All right, shalom, shalom. First things first, I want to give honor and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachach. We say, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachach. And we give double honors to our apostles and our elders, which are the apostles of the great millstone, which feed us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit and power of Yahbashim Yahushai. Let's jump right into this, man. 2026 is jumping, man. Jumping. This is a story concerning the oil prices that are raising up. Oil has just went up to $100 a barrel for the first time in almost 4 years, and it's going to increase. I think the oil price currently, if we looks between $100 and $115. Okay, so let's look at the AI overview, because right now I seen gas go up probably about, it was about 280, 280, about 280, high 80s. Now it's jumping up to $3. So I suggest to get gasoline because the war is intensifying, and it's this right here is a part of that economic woes that are coming to Babylon the Great and parts of the world, man. And it's time, man. You know, judgment is a necessity once you see the world and the condition that it's in. If we go back to the time of the flood, why the Lord didn't just flood the world? Because it was the thing to do. He said it. The scriptures tell us that men's hearts were continuing to do evil. Okay, so the great flood, the flood that happened, was a very beautiful thing, really. It gave the world rest. It reset everything. It put everything back to a reset. You know, we ended up going back to it, but the same thing is happening now. All right, the Heavenly Father is getting ready to reset this world, all right, and it needs it bad, man. All right, from the breakdown of the family home, from the breakdown children, women, all these people, all these things are just breaking down at a high rate. You know, society is corrupt, okay? Just like when a body feels heat, if a human body gets to the point of being sick, it releases something called, it heightens its temperature to kill the infection and to kill either a parasitic infection. The body reacts to that. So what's happening now, there's a reaction in creation, man. Creation has a built-in mechanism, which is the Heavenly Father pulling these prophecies in a fast rate. That's why it says, for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So the days are being shortened because that judgment is on its way. Okay, and it says, let's read it one more time. It says the oil prices surged above 100 to $115 a barrel in March 2026, marking the highest level since 2022, driven by severe supply disruption fears following the escalated conflict in the Middle East. While prices momentarily spiked near $120, they fluctuated, with Brent expected to average 79 to, I think it was about $80 a barrel, and it was a little bit lower than that. But now it's coming up, $79 in 2026. This has caused U.S. gasoline prices to jump significantly. Okay, so you can see that this war is affecting Babylon directly. Okay, price levels. This is WTI, Western Texas Intermediate crude oil surpassed $115 per barrel before settling lower, with Brent crude also seeing massive spikes. So these massive spikes and these things that are taking place are to affect and to show the effect of this war is climbing right back into Babylon. So they're falling into a trap which they made, and this is going to escalate. They said if this thing really pops off in the Strait of Hormuz, you could see $300 a barrel. Okay, if it goes to $300 a barrel, it's a wrap, man. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for Babylon. So let's keep going. It says oil prices surge above $100 a barrel for the first time in almost 4 years. New York Times. This is 4 hours ago. This is a little bit newer. Like it says, you gotta. This thing is live. It's fluid, as they say. It's a fluid situation. That means it's going up, it's going down, because they're trying to put a cap on everything. They're trying to control the chaos, but the chaos is spiraling out of control. They're letting Chinese vessels go through the Strait of Hormuz because they already know what would happen. All right, but China already knows what the deal is because this right here is going to affect their oil and their fuel revenue and production. It's going to hinder it. Okay, if this war continues and the things that are planned, it's going to what does it say? It's going to be a hell of a summer. So let's go ahead and open the story. It says with the war in Iran, experts predict even higher gas prices before they can come down. Gas in the United States reached an average of $3.50. What is that? Average of 3,500 and what was that? $3,539 a gallon on Tuesday, up to more than 17%, or three. I think that's $3.50 or $3.50. I don't know. That ain't 3,000. I know that. More than 17% since the start of the U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran. It says gas prices are up. The oil fields are aflames as the war in the Middle East continues into its second week. Gas in the United States reached an average of, what is that? Average of $3.53. $3.53. Let's just say about $3 a gallon on Tuesday, according to the AAA Monitoring Club, up more than 17%. It says up more than 17%, then 17% since the start of the U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran on February 28th. Okay. It says oil prices on Sunday, meanwhile, eclipsed $100 a barrel for the first time since Russia's invasion in Ukraine, trading nearly $120 a barrel early Monday before easing to just below $100. So it's going up and then it's coming back down. And that's all by design also too. Because hey, Russia's gonna get hella rich. So these situations they bargain on, they bank on, because money in that high level, it travels quick and it travels high. So the money that they're going back and forth with, when you may have a small investor that may have a couple thousand with the skin in the game, these are corporations that are pushing hundreds of millions of dollars. So fluctuation at that level can increase your revenue millions of dollars instantly, or it can decrease it millions of dollars instantly also. So it's a two-edged sword. So we're seeing this situation is intensifying. So you have to watch the war and then watch the economy, because the economy is going to tell you that this war is not dying down. Because if it was dying down, they would have pressure capped it, because they're able to release certain surplus, and then you even have, I think NATO was speaking about having the surplus released. I think they got about $1 billion plus in oil revenue, or oil sitting there. Okay, but the difference is Babylon has the petrodollar to lean on. These other nations do not. So their revenue is going to dip if they sell it at a lower cost to make the market even back out. That means that these other nations that have stock in that what is that conglomerate of oil, they're going to lose out because they purchased it at a higher cost. But Babylon is able to eat that cost by way of having that petrodollar dominance. It says oil prices on Sunday, meanwhile, eclipsed $100 a barrel. Let's go down. Increases. It says the increase followed the U.S. crude price climbing 36%, and a barrel of Brent crude, the international standard, rising by 28% the previous week. This increase also comes as many parts of the northern hemisphere are preparing for the summer-driven season to begin. So if this happens, because money's at the end, money's behind a lot of this. These elites are going to clean up. They said buy when there's blood flowing in the streets. So they're going to clean up behind all of this, okay? But also this is going to put hardship on a lot of other nations, okay? Because the Middle East right now is a powder keg. Different nations are being hit. And it's not slowing down. They're talking about hitting the Iranian nuclear plant, okay? And if that happens, that's going to send radioactive material up. So there's a lot of moving parts going on right now, man. That's why this is compared unto the labor pains that Yahweh Shem Yahshua prophesied would be taking place in the last days. Matthew's the 24th chapter tells us that, there should be rumors of wars, All these things are moving ourselves and getting ourselves prepared. Okay, so the gas price is there. You can look into the different videos. These are the news stories. I'm gonna see if there's any that's current. Let's go up here. Yeah, the one 4 hours ago is the most recent one. We got one 9 hours ago. Governor Newsom blasts Trump for raising gasoline prices in America with no plan and no accountability. So they're infighting also. Oil prices top $100 a barrel. Trump says it's a short-term blip. Oh man, this guy, you know. But it is what it is. Let them do what they're gonna do. This is not our nation. This is not our kingdom. All right, we're here to prophesy before the Lord told us before He revealeth the secrets to the servants, the prophets. Okay, so before the Lord comes, if you read the book, it says there the prophets that have been before me. And Jeremiah tells you prophesy both against kingdoms of war, pestilences. These are the things we've been telling. We've been telling these people a long time, starting with our apostles and elders, but nobody took heed besides the elect. So now the elect have gotten themselves right and prepared. Now these other nations are getting ready to fill it. This is the book of Psalms 7 and verse 15. NLT says they dig a pit. It says they dig a deep pit to trap others, then fall into it themselves. Okay, amplified. It says he has dug a pit and hollowed it out and has fallen into the very pit which he made as a trap. So this trap that was set for these other nations and set to hinder and to push nations. So this act that they were going to take Iran and pretty much let it fall and collapse by taking out the supreme leader, it backfired. Okay, now Iran is fighting tooth and nail because this is what you call an exponential threat. That means there ain't no going back from this. All right, their plan is to push the envelope because they're following behind the small hats, and they've been wanting Iran out of the way. So this is the time that they're going to use. All right, and they're also going over stargazings, prognosticators, astrology. They're going after that. So they think that this is the time that they'll have the most success and power, just like us as the Israelites. We had a tribe that shows you that the high holy days were governed by the heavens. That's why we had Issachar, the tribe of Yashashkar, okay, the so-called Mexicans today, which were experts at navigating the skies, okay. Certain times you wouldn't go to war because it wouldn't be in your best interest, okay. Sometimes you would be able to go to war, okay. And so we had that knowledge of the heavens. So why would we not have the knowledge of the moon, which is one of the biggest objects in the sky that we have to look at, and because that's the time clock. All right, that dictates the waves in the ocean, women's periods, but it don't got no importance. Okay, that's showing you that we're joined to creation, especially when it comes to this planet Earth, because the book in the Apocrypha Esdras tells us, Second Esdras tells us that the Earth was created for our sakes. So this is our planet. This is our home. Okay, our rulership, our kingdom is going to be on the planet Earth. The Negro, Latino, Native American will rule on the planet Earth. Okay, and we don't care if nobody believes it. We're not here for that. We're here to tell you what. That's why I says we're here to prophesy. We're not here to to hear things. This world has been talking in ignorance and pride for long enough. The Lord said it's enough. That's why He says I send out my prophets early, and we telling these people, man, you listen. That's why I said you have taken the blood off your own hands. Okay. So we don't have to listen and have to argue with people because people don't give a damn about the scriptures anyway. Okay? Point blank. All right, let's pull this up in the NLT. Give me 1 second. This is the book of, this is verse 16. It says, the trouble they make for others backfires on them. See? The violence they plan falls on their own heads. I will thank the Lord because He is just. I will sing praise to the name of the Lord Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Yahweh Wa Yahushai. That's why we push those names. Psalms tells us to push those names. See? I don't know, man. What the fuck going on, man? Esau out here tripping, bro. Esau out here tripping. Goodness gracious, bro. Let's read it one more time. This is the book of Psalm 7 and verse 15. They dig a pit to trap others, then fall into it themselves. The trouble they make for others backfires on them. The violence they plan falls on their own heads. I will thank the Lord because he is just. I will sing the praise to the name of the Lord Most High. See? And we doing that now. We singing the name of the Lord, man. We're praising it by our bodies and self. That's why Romans 12:1 says, make that body a living sacrifice, man. We're giving the Lord the glory in everything that we do, man. It's not for us. It's for the Lord to glorify and save us, man. We gonna get the osmosis from it. That's why we ain't here to glorify ourselves and uplift ourselves. Who the fuck are we? You know, I'm happy to be an Israelite and to know this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and to know what's going on. Right now, if you're not privy to the prophecy, you lost. You wouldn't know why the hell Babylon bombed Iran. You wouldn't know why the U.S. is sending weapons to Ukraine. You wouldn't know those things because you're not privy to the prophecy. That's why apostles mentioned about the religious advisor to Nero didn't inform him not to do certain things because she don't know. She's not into the Lord said he revealeth his secrets to the prophets. That proves that this nation does not have prophets in the midst, but they're listening to the prophets on the low. All right, just like I watched a video earlier with that Moabite scientist or analyst. He's an analyst, and he was breaking it down about the mark of the beast, the MOTB. Where'd they get that? And then he's saying that it's the chip. Where did he get that? Because these guys, he's an analyst, so he analyzes without having emotions, just like chat. When we ask chat backs up because chat isn't coming out of its emotions. It don't have emotions to come out of. It's analytical. Okay, the Chinese analyst, he's analytical. So he's analyzing things and seeing it and putting two to two together because he's not privy to the prophecies of the scriptures on his own accord. But as he listens to men break it down, all right, and he puts it, he does the research, looks it up, and looks at the scriptures that are being read and analyzes it without emotions, because a lot of these other camps, they don't want to believe, especially when it starts with apostles and elders of Great Millstone, because they're emotional behind it. There's an emotion attached to it. I don't want to give credence because I don't like this person, or I don't like, no matter what, we're not here to be liked. The Yahushua wasn't liked, man. He didn't give a damn. Yahushua didn't trim his ways to, why it said, why trimmest thou ways to seek love? The only thing you can do with somebody's love is lose it. Only you can do with somebody's like is lose it. Only thing you can do with somebody's respect is lose it. So what's the point of trying to keep it? There ain't no point. And we ain't here to, that's why it says that if whether they hear or whether they forbear. So we're not here to be friends and we're not selling Girl Scout cookies. I used to say that when early in the prophetic days, when I was younger in the truth, I was just say we ain't selling cookies, man. We're not out here with a pastry table, man, and here to give you some deals and make you feel. No, we're here to tell you the skinny, man. Because that's why it says get the blood off your hands. We're doing this because the Lord told us to do it. Go out here and give you his words. Give you warning from him. It says, knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. All right. This is the book of Ecclesiastes. Salakia. Get that off. This is Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 8. And it says, he that diggeth a pit shall fall into it. And whoso breaketh a hedge, a serpent shall bite him. All right. That's what you say. Calamities on calamities. All right. Calamities coming for Esau, man. He's in it. He's knee deep because this is a part of the curses. What was happening in the time of Jeroboam and Rehoboam? That was calamities. Things were happening. Splits were taking place. Advising was being given, but it wasn't being hearkened to. What does it say? Wise counsel. So we're seeing it take place now in Babylon. And Nero wasn't listening to wise counsel, man, because he was going for the small hats. He was going to please the small hats, and that's why it says the least of the flock shall draw him out, man. So he's being drawn out. He's being put into a quagmire, okay, a powder keg. He's knee deep in it, man. All right. This is Proverbs 28 and verse 10, and it says, those who lead good people along an evil path will fall into their own trap, but the honest will inherit good things. And that's what we see. That's the elect today. That's the elect of Yahweh Shai, is the honest of the world we're living in. All right, the rest of the people, they're not looking for the words of the Lord, man. And when they hear it, they turn their nose up at it because they're using their emotions. They're not using an analytical mind and getting themselves right. First and foremost, as an Israelite, that's who we're here for. We're here to give the news to the gospel to the Israelites, but we're also here to tell the judgment that Yahbashim Yahshua is getting ready to make come to pass on the planet Earth, which is about to be raw dog judgment. No ifs, ands, or buts, no cut on it. That's why I say he's gonna pour it out without mixture. Because in the ancient world, you had to mix wine, man. Certain, especially my mom's telling me about liquor. There's if you brew liquor, right, in Africa, you'd have to cut it. The first part of it was damn near poisonous. It'll kill you because it's so high concentrate of alcohol in it. You can't drink it. You gotta either cut that, okay. But some people like that top layer. You know, that's for them drunk winos. You know, them drunkards. They get that shit. That's that shit they like. You know, but you gotta cut it. All right, so the Lord said he's going to pour this judgment out without mixture, and it's going to be potent, man. Potent judgments coming to Babylon the Great. All right, to Jacob's trouble, we're in the midst of it. You got ICE, they're doing their thing, and that's set up perfectly because now when internal chaos happens, they're already going to have the troops and the guards set up for it. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Lord willing, is that a final lesson? With that, I say call halal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Echak Wadash. Until the next time, I say shalom, and more, and I don't ever keep faith. Shalom.